Browns training camp day 11, the first day of preseason week 1. It was a scheduled closed practice today, which worked out because we've had crazy storms yet again. On a very positive note, Spencer Fano and Denzel Boston have been promoted to the first team offense, starting offensive line for you today. Spencer Fano, Zion Johnson, Elkton Jenkins, Tevin Jenkins, and Titus Howard. And if this group can stay healthy, yes, I'm looking at you, Tevin Jenkins, this is what I would predict the week 1 starting lineup to look like. The first 3 wide receiver set today was exactly what we've been wanting to see. Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, and Isaiah Bond. Todd Monken said he wants to see Boston at the X so they can move Jerry Jeudy around the formation because Jerry Jeudy is at his best when he's on the move. Before practice, Todd Monken said Shedeur Sanders would take all the first team reps today, and he did. I saw touchdown passes today to Harold Fannin Jr., Jerry Jeudy, and Denzel Boston. That one might have been out of bounds. I've seen it reported both ways. And reports said Shedeur Sanders was processing the offense very well today, changing plays at the line of scrimmage and setting protections. Deshaun Watson with the second team had a touchdown pass to Tylan Wallace, who is, by the way, absolutely making this roster. But then at the end of practice, things didn't go so well. Ashley Bastock said 1 minute end of half situation, Shedeur Sanders up first, and the drive ends with 2 false starts on the offensive line. Deshaun Watson up next, and after 2 completions, he took a sack, an illegal formation, and a false start. Obviously not happy, Todd Monken ended practice, and it looked like he threw something. So the good news about that anyway is that Todd Monken does not seem like he's going to tolerate the pre-snap penalties the way Kevin Stefanski did. The bad news is, doesn't seem to matter yet. Trey Avery at the cornerback position running a lot of first team with D'Angelo Ross not practicing, and the team today went light on the workload for Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell. Injury updates, same list as last week, with the exception of tight end Jack Stoll and cornerback D'Angelo Ross, who are new absences. Titus Howard, Justin Jefferson, and Damari Mathis all returned today. And before practice, Todd Monken explained the situation from Saturday with Deshaun Watson taking all of Shedeur's scheduled first team reps. You can check out my previous video for that breakdown, but Todd Monken did say no starting quarterback has been decided yet for Saturday's preseason game, but each quarterback will start one of the upcoming 2 preseason games. He also said the quarterbacks will continue to rotate up to and including the joint practice with the Bills. And speaking of the preseason kickoff Saturday against the Bears, Todd Monken said he'd like to get the starters 1 series to open the game. So let me know your thoughts and takeaways from the first training camp practice this week as the Browns get ready to go to Chicago and face the Bears on Saturday.
Day number 11 of Browns training camp, and it looks like Shedeur Sanders done got his lick back. I mean, as you see, making it look easy. Says, anything you can do, Deshaun, I can do better. Deshaun got 2 back-to-back days with the ones, right? Shedeur, as soon as he gets with the ones, starts making big-time plays, rolling to his left, throwing to his right. Come on, y'all know he could do that since the Colorado days, so that ain't nothing new. Shout out LeJontay Wester, right? But no, in all seriousness, you've seen the quarterback tracker. 70% from the field.
Nobody saw this coming. Not the Cleveland media, not the national NFL analysts, and definitely not the people who spent months writing Shedeur Sanders off. Because on day 11 of Cleveland training camp, something happened that flipped the entire quarterback conversation upside down. A performance so sharp, so decisive, so undeniable that even Shedeur's harshest critics were forced to admit the truth. But here's the part nobody's talking about. Just 1 day before this happened, Deshaun Watson had taken every single first-team rep, 2 days in a row. So what changed? Stay with me, because what happened next exposed something about this quarterback battle that the Browns front office does not want you to see.
Very possible that Shedeur Sanders could win a quarterback battle or could lose the quarterback battle. But the fact that they weren't giving him his opportunity, weren't giving him his chance to get his lick back, you give the vet multiple weeks in a row with the ones, then go on a break, and then Shedeur, there you go. Now you can have your ones. And not only do you get your ones, you got to play on Deshaun Watson's turf. This is no pads inside. Y'all know that's where Deshaun Watson shines, man. But no, Deshaun had a few good throws, a few deep throws as well. We'll go through those as well. But, you know, I really thought Shedeur handled himself pretty well. And we're going to get into not really the quarterback tracker.
For weeks, the story in Cleveland has been the same. Deshaun Watson, the veteran, the former Pro Bowler, the guy with the massive contract still attached to his name. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie, the 5th-round pick who fell further than anyone expected on draft night. a quarterback who had to sit behind two other passers before he ever got a real chance last season. And once he finally got that chance, he turned heads. He made the Pro Bowl roster. He gave Browns fans a reason to dream again. But dreams don't erase depth charts. And heading into this camp, the job still technically belonged to Watson. Head coach Todd Monken promised an even rotation, alternating days with the ones, a fair fight. That's the story the Browns wanted everyone to believe. But that's not what happened. Watson had already banked back-to-back sessions with the starters, and when Shedeur finally got his turn back, he wasn't just getting reps with the ones, he was getting reps against the Browns' best defensive personnel. No pads, indoors, on a surface that by nearly every account favors a veteran arm like Watson's. In other words, the deck was stacked, and Shedeur still delivered. Here's where things get crazy. According to the Browns' own quarterback tracker, Shedeur completed roughly 70% of his throws that day. Watson, around 68%. Nearly identical efficiency. But it's not just about completion percentage, it's about touchdowns. And when the ones went against the ones, Shedeur was the one finding the end zone. A rope to the corner for a score, a perfectly timed anticipation throw before his receiver even finished his route, a play where he read the defense before the snap, changed the call at the line, and delivered a strike that had reporters in the building buzzing. That's not luck, that's preparation. And here's something else worth mentioning. This wasn't Shedeur padding stats against backup defenders. This was the #1 offense against the #1 defense, the starters, the guys who will actually be lining up on Sundays this fall. No easy reps, no garbage time, just Shedeur, under center, delivering when it mattered most. That's the type of detail that gets buried in a quick highlight reel, but it's exactly the kind of detail that should matter most to anyone trying to figure out who deserves this job. But that's not even the most shocking part, because while cameras and reporters were quick to zoom in on pre-snap penalties during Shedeur's drive, something curious happened when Watson's unit did the exact same thing. Silence. Multiple accounts from inside that practice confirmed pre-snap issues hit both units. False starts, illegal formations, a rookie left tackle getting worked by one of the league's best pass rushers every single day. Yet somehow, only one quarterback's mistakes made the headlines. Now pay attention to this. One local reporter accidentally posted footage of Watson's own pre-snap problems, then quietly mislabeled it before it could spread. Coincidence? Maybe. But when the pattern repeats itself day after day, it stops looking like an accident and starts looking like a narrative being managed in real time.
He's on 92.3 The Fan, right? So this is a guy that has criticized Shedeur plenty of times, and I don't think he's a hater, but he's definitely criticized and said, hey, this is actually the guy who said, oh, he's been holding onto the ball and it's been worse, right? Today, he says, Shedeur Sanders has been processing the offense very well today. Shedeur changes a play at the line of scrimmage into a real route to Gage, lays out a good throw just out of the reach of Gage. Now, so Shedeur, this was just undoubtedly from multiple accounts a great day from Shedeur Sanders. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a very dangerous man.
You see what I'm saying? Dangerous. So it's not something that surprises me. What surprises me is that, I'm hoping that he does, or not surprise me. What worries me is I'm hoping that Wednesday, his next time with the ones, he does get some more ones.
Here's where the media's argument completely falls apart. Even the analysts who've been toughest on Shedeur all summer couldn't deny what they saw. One well-known Cleveland sports radio voice, a guy who had openly criticized Shedeur for holding on to the ball too long in earlier practices, came out and said something nobody expected. He called Shedeur's processing some of the best he's seen all camp. Think about that for a second. This wasn't a friendly analyst. This wasn't someone in Shedeur's corner from day one. This was a critic, a skeptic, someone who had already built a case against him. And even he couldn't ignore what was right in front of him. Now here's the part that should really make you angry. For all the talk about rotations and fairness, Shedeur wasn't handed a clean runway to prove himself. He went 2 straight days without a single rep with the starters. Then, when his turn finally came, it came under the toughest possible conditions. No pads against the top defense on the exact stage that's supposed to favor Watson's game the most, and he still won the day. So ask yourself, if the competition was truly even, why does it keep feeling like Shedeur has to do more with less just to get the same respect? That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. Because numbers only tell half the story, let's talk about what actually happened on the field. A throw to Isaiah Bond that left analysts stunned. Shedeur released the ball before his receiver had even finished breaking out of his route. That's not guesswork. That's trust in what he sees before it happens. A touchdown strike that turned into a full-blown controversy, with fans arguing for days over whether it should have counted at all. A connection with Jerry Jeudy that's quietly turned into one of the most reliable combos in that quarterback room. And on a play where his own offensive line briefly broke down in front of him, Shedeur adjusted, extended, and delivered anyway. That's not a rookie hanging on. That's a competitor taking over.
I can't come in here. I'm happy that Deshaun Watson is playing at a high level. I think what you see when Deshaun Watson playing at a higher level is Shedeur is looking even more decisive. Man, look, for all my runners, you know what I'm saying? There's a saying about whenever you're running with faster people, you're running in that heat. It makes you run faster. It makes you push yourself a little farther. So Deshaun was kind of like a limp duck. You know what I'm saying? It looked like Shedeur was running away. Now, maybe Jimmy Haslam had to come intervene. Maybe some things had to be changed around. But look, regardless, we are where we stand. Comment down below again, was the Denzel Boston touchdown a touchdown? Because they might be messing with our money. And then I'll say a lot of y'all be real mad at the quarterback tracker. Because they do seem to miss touchdowns. They seem to not put context. They seem to.
And what happened next left Browns fans stunned. Because it's not just outside analysts noticing the shift. People inside that building are starting to talk. There's a growing sense that Watson's strong stretch, the one that had insiders declaring he'd taken the lead just days earlier, may have pushed Shedeur to respond in exactly the way a real competitor should. Some call it pressure, others call it fuel. Because every time Watson has a big day, Shedeur doesn't shrink, he sharpens. And that's the version of this quarterback battle the Browns front office has to be watching closely, whether they admit it publicly or not. So where does that leave us? The Browns still have preseason games coming. Real bullets, real defenses that aren't just their own. Watson still has the contract, still has the experience, still, according to some insiders, has the edge heading into Week 1. But if Day 11 proved anything, it's this. This competition is far from decided. Every time the narrative tries to close the door on Shedeur Sanders, he kicks it right back open, and that terrifies the people who already picked their favorite. Whether you love Shedeur Sanders or you can't stand him, one thing is getting harder and harder to deny. Every single time they try to write him off, he keeps giving people a reason to believe. The reps aren't equal, the conditions aren't equal, the coverage isn't equal, and he's still finding a way to win the day. That's not just talent, that's a mentality. And in a league that chews up rookies and spits them out, that might be the most dangerous thing of all. So here's the real question heading into preseason. Is this still Deshaun Watson's job to lose, or is Shedeur Sanders about to make this decision a whole lot harder than the Browns ever wanted it to be? Drop your take in the comments. Tell us who's really winning this battle. And if you want to stay ahead of every twist in this Browns quarterback saga, hit that subscribe button right now. Tap the bell and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over, and you do not want to miss what happens next.